Hi music fans, it's Rogs939 here, and it's that time of day. It's time for the second of my weekly music vlogs that started last week. And as I said last week, this will be a weekly thing, and we'll be talking about a different subject of music every week, whether that be the genre, the album, the time of year, etc. And talking of time of year, this top 10 list I've composed this week will be about Christmas songs, my favourite Christmas songs. And as I said, it's that time of the year, and it's everybody's getting into the festive spirit. So today, over the course of today and yesterday, I've composed a list of 10 Christmas songs that I consider to be my favourites, that are my favourites. Just a quick note that I have tried to avoid the very commercial Christmas songs, so the ones you hear on the radio, constantly. Obviously, there are a couple in there, obviously, because we couldn't avoid them, because some of them obviously are really good. So some of the songs that didn't include, that I didn't include in my list, obviously will include Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, Happy Christmas, War Is Over by John Lennon. What other ones have I not included? Step Into Christmas, Elton John isn't in there. Just to name a few, because obviously you hear them all the time. Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. So those sorts of songs I haven't included because as much as they're very seasonal and people love them, and I should probably stress I've never really been a big fan of Christmas music, obviously because it's seasonal, it's overplayed, but the songs I've just mentioned are what I consider to be very overplayed. I'm not saying they're bad, I'm not knocking the songs or anything, but I'm just saying I consider them to be a little bit overplayed for my liking. So I've tried to avoid the very mainstream commercial Christmas songs that everyone knows, but anyhow. So here's my top 10 seasonal Christmas songs, and I will tell you a bit about the song as well. So, and I've also got some albums here just beside me, sort of just here, and when the appropriate song comes up, I'll display them on screen for you. Anyway, so here's my top 10 Christmas songs. So number 10, we're going to start with quite an obscure artist, or artists, I should say. So number 10 was originally recorded in 1947, and I think it was a one-hit wonder for the original artist, and that was by Johnny Moore, and it was later covered by an artist you may or may not be familiar with, and that's Charles Brown. More on him later. So the number 10 is by Johnny Moore originally, 1947, and it's called Merry Christmas Baby. Charles Brown's version is more pop, or more well known. So I'll put both versions in the description. But the Charles Brown version is the one that I know, which was released I think in 1958. So it's sort of like a rhythm and blues jazz song, if you like. And it features, and I just love the way it's sort of written, and sort of the style that it's in. It's not a real boppy commercial Christmas song. It's very, very sort of chilled out and relaxed. It's the sort of thing you could have on whilst you're having your Christmas turkey, Christmas dinner type thing, because it's that sort of laid back vibe. Really, it's not like it's not like a Mariah Carey All I Want for Christmas Is You, where you could just dance around the house and party. It's a very laid back vibe, very jazzy, very bluesy, and it's a song I really recommend for anybody who's watching to play whilst there's a Christmas dinner on, or whilst there's talking. When let's say you're talking at the table or around a game board or something. So that's my number 10, and that's Merry Christmas Baby, Johnny Moore / Charles Brown. Number 9, which is a song I think a lot of you guys will know, released in 1953. It became a hit for Kylie Minogue I think in the 90s or 2000s, I can't remember when, but somewhere around there. And this song was recorded originally by Eartha Kitt, jazz singer, cabaret black jazz singer in the 50s. Santa Baby. Now, Santa Baby, I love that song. It's very jazzy. It's very, oh, hello. We've got a notification there. It's very jazzy. It's very, again, very laid back. It's another song you could have at your Christmas dinner, or you could have whilst there's general chat going on. You know, I love the clarinets and the sort of woodwind section, and yeah, and I love the vibe that it brings. You know, laid back. You could also dance to it if you wanted, but yeah, Eartha Kitt. For the younger viewers that are sort of my age or maybe even younger that are watching, you may have watched the film Holes, which is a Shia LaBeouf film. Eartha Kitt plays Madame Zeroni, who is sort of just like a strange religious character in the film, and that's how you may know who Eartha Kitt is. But a lot of people know her as being the singer of Santa Baby. So yeah, very nice. And as I said, it became a hit for Kylie Minogue, which is what a lot of people may know the song as. So number 9, Santa Baby, 1953. Now number 8, and I did say that I would try and avoid the commercial hits, commercial Christmas hits. But this one is probably the most commercial in the list. It was released in 1985, and it was a Christmas number 1 at the time. And it was produced by a very respected artist in the music industry, and I've got a couple of his albums upstairs, and that's Dave Edmunds, you know, who was known for hits such as I Hear You Knocking, Girls Talk, Queen of Hearts, and I Knew the Bride, etc. But he produced this song for a fellow rock and roll singer who emerged in the late 70s, early 80s, and I really love his music. I actually sort of got into his music sort of around about 2 years ago, around about this time last year, actually. And he's proven to be a real guilty pleasure of mine over the last couple of years. I've actually got an album right here. Is this one? It is this one. And that's Shakin' Stevens, Shaky. And I think that name may have given away what the number 8 choice is for me. And that's Merry Christmas, Everyone. You know, even though it's a commercial hit, I've always loved it. You know, it's one of those songs that you can sort of, again, unlike the you know, the Eartha Kitt one and the Johnny Moore song, it's more, you can dance to it. It's more of like a festive, you know, dance party song. And I believe it features some very high profile musicians. Obviously, Dave Edmunds produced it. I think Mickey G, who was on a lot of shaky hits, such as The Green Door, Marie Marie, You Drive Me Crazy, Oh Julie, and to name a few more. But yeah, number 8, just for a bit of fun, was Merry Christmas Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. Number 7 is another very famous hit from 1963. And it's, again, by a very famous band. And for me, one of my favourite bands of all time, or certainly up there. And they produced some of the greatest music during the Flower Power era of the late 60s. And I've again got what I consider to be their best album, and I think a lot of people would agree, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. So that's their most famous album. Check it out. Released in 1960, I think 68, 67. You might have to correct me on that one. Anyway, the song I've included from them in this list for number 7 is Little Saint Nick, which is what I consider to be surf music. It's because obviously the Beach Boys were known for their surf music in the early 60s. This song is very short and very simple, but even so, the harmonies are so tight. I mean, I think the lead vocals are sung by, I think it's one of the Wilson brothers. I think it's Brian, but again, you may have to correct me. But you listen to the vocals in the background. The harmonies are so tight. The thing is, they go from really high the falsettos, but then they go from really high and really low. And for me, that is why that is in number 7 for me. So the California surf sound with Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. That's number 7. So moving on to number 6, we're going to wind the clock back a tiny bit. So I think 1959. Now I've got to stress, I'm not a massive fan of the kind of music. I'm not a big fan of crooners or that kind of music. I mean, I think it's very good. I like some of it, but I don't love it, if you know what I mean. But we're going to wind back the clock because this particular crooner, has got, for me, one of the silkiest voices you could ever hear. And this is a song, I think, was originally released back in the 40s. It was written back in the 40s. But this version, which is a lot of people will know, from 1959, and this is by Dean Martin, and that's Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Again, I mean, that title just sort of, it just speaks for itself, really, because it's very laid back. And you listen to Dean Martin's vocals, they are just superb. So smooth and so silky. How I would love to have, had a voice as good as that. So that's Let It Snow, number 6. Number 5. Now, number 5? Yeah, number 5, sorry. So this is an artist that didn't really have many hits back in her day. But if you listen to her, so she was a very young female rockabilly singer. And she was known, I think she's obviously most known for this song, but she had songs back in the day called Bigelow 5738 or something like that. You'll have to Google that if you want to find out what it's actually called. But she had a hit with this song in 1958, and that's Brenda Lee, and it's called Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. And I know a lot of people know that song. It's played a lot on the radios. But I covered this song on Facebook in 2019, just before Christmas 2019. And I think it's one of the, you have to appreciate that it's a very, very well-written song. There's some great guitar work in it. And it's very well written. And Brenda Lee, who was a very young and hungry female rock and roll singer, who performed it and never really had many other hits other than that. And as I said, there's Bigelow 57 something. But I really highly recommend you check her out, because Brenda Lee is very good. She knows more stuff than that, but I love Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. It's a really great song. Anyway, moving on to number 4. This is another rockabilly singer. Again, wasn't very well known. He performed, I think he wrote, excuse me, I can't speak. He did a song called My Special Angel, which is, was a minor hit. But he released this song in 1957, which became a smash hit. And that's Bobby Helms with Jingle Bell Rock. And he sat, and again, it's like Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. The guitar work is really nice. It's proper rockabilly style. And I really like that song, and I like how it's performed. So that was in 1957, a year earlier than the Brenda Lee song. So that's number 4 with Jingle Bell Rock. Now we're getting up to the really good songs now. We're now edging into the top 3. So number 3, which is not actually originally by this artist, but I think it was originally a Christmas. It was an original, like a Christmas carol type thing, instrumental Christmas carol, released donkeys years ago. I can't even begin to imagine when it was released. But this guy released his own version of it, and I consider it to be one of the most talented pieces of music that you'll ever hear. And he was one of the most talented artists that you could ever hear. And that's Mike Oldfield. And if you ever get a chance to listen to Tubular Bells, the album, please listen to it. It is absolutely fantastic. How a guy can go and compose something so, so intermediate and so complex and play every single instrument on it is just beyond me. Please check that out. I mean, it's just amazing. But this song that he released in 1975 was In Dulci Jubilo. Oh, he plays every single instrument on it, and he plays it flawlessly. Like, you've got the little strumming acoustic guitar at the beginning, which is playing just a few chords, and you think, okay. But all of a sudden, he plays the melody on this, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's like a sort of oboe type thing. But then he plays everything. He plays the drums, he plays guitar, bass. This guy is some talent. And that's why I've included it as number 3, in Dulci Jubilo, Mike Oldfield. And it could easily be number 2 or number 1, because that's how talented he is. So please check Mike Oldfield out. He is just a raw talent. Number 2. So I mentioned earlier an artist called Charles Brown, who released a version of Merry Christmas Baby, which was my number 10 choice. But he performed the original of this song back in 1960. And one of my very favourite American rock bands recorded a version in 1978 featuring the very great Don Henley on vocals. And I think you might know who it is, and that's the Eagles. So the Eagles, obviously known for their big hits like Take It Easy, of course, Hotel California. They did things like Lion Eyes, they did Take It to the Limit, The Last Resort, Victim of Love, Life in the Fast Lane, Witchy Woman, Peaceful Easy Feeling, Heartache Tonight, I Can't Tell You Why, and so many hits. They were a fantastic band. I could name so many. But they released a version of this Charles Brown hit in 1978, which became a fairly big hit over here. And that's Please Come Home for Christmas. Again, just a beautiful song, just so well written, and very brilliant vocals by Don Henley, and Joe Walsh playing that very short but effective guitar solo. And yeah, fantastic song, and again, could easily have been number 1, but my number 1 choice couldn't be anything else. So that's number 2, Please Come Home for Christmas by Charles Brown / the Eagles. Now, and here comes what you've all been waiting for, and that's my number 1 choice. Now, this artist has proved to be one of my biggest inspirations as a musician over the years. He's had many hits back in the 50s, and a lot of which were culturally appropriated, which means because he was a black artist and then white artists covered it and made more money, and that's obviously what cultural appropriation is. And I did my dissertation at uni based on that subject. This artist, like I say, as I just said, is one of my inspirations. He had so many big hits. And again, I have an album of his right here, the great Chuck Berry. So obviously known for his big hit was Johnny Be Good. He had hits like, School Days, Ring Ring Goes a Bell, No Particular Place to Go. For any Pulp Fiction fans, he did You Never Can Tell, which is where Uma Thurman and John Travolta did their dance to. He had Reading and Rockin'. He had Maybelline, which was his first big hit. He had Roll Over Beethoven, which became a hit for the Beatles. And he had that dreadful abomination, which was My Ding-a-Ling. I'm not going to talk about that song too much because it was, not exactly his best recording, not exactly his finest moment. But he had so many hits. Oh, Carol he had as well. He had so many amazing hits. Little Queenie, to name many. But the song he had a hit with in 1958, recorded on the Chess label, was Run, Rudolph, Run. Amazing. I mean, again, the artist just speaks for itself. It's just pure energy, and who imagines someone writing a Christmas song like that in this day and age? You know, just, you know, he's smashing guitar work, the energy of the backing band, just everything about it. I mean, how can you not enjoy Chuck Berry's music? You know, it is just, it's special. He's a special artist and has influenced so many bands over the years and artists. And that's, for me, why he's number one. And it was a no-brainer for me. Yeah, so Run, Run, Rudolph, Run, Rudolph, Run, covered by so many artists. I think I'm not sure, Billy Idol did a version of it quite recently, but so many artists have done it, but it's a no-brainer that it was going to be number one for my favourite Christmas song. So that concludes this week's blog of top 10 songs, and it was top 10 Christmas songs, and so yeah, and that concludes it, and obviously I'll be back next week with another blog. So make sure, if you're watching on YouTube, to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel. If you're on Facebook, give it a like and share it wherever you can. And yeah, and then hope you guys have a good weekend. I know we've just been put into Plan B by Boris Johnson, so not the best, but enjoy it. You know, enjoy your weekend, and yeah, have a good time. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.